and that will be interference with the administration of justice. Because if the wild allegations are made, irresponsible allegations are made, false allegations are made against the members of the judiciary, sitting judges, then they will not be able to render justice freely and with complete independence, which is required in the interest of justice.
Okay, I take that point, but what about the necessity to also proceed? What about the necessity to also proceed effectively against people who have been alleged to have been very corrupt? Doesn't contempt of court and other privileges, Dr. Kashyap, don't these principles make it very difficult to act against a judge who may have broken his code of honor?
You see, a difference has to be made between saying that 20% of the judiciary is corrupt, or saying 20% of the judges are corrupt, or what Prashant said, 50% of them are corrupt.
What is the difference?
The difference is, if you say that Mr. So-and-so, Justice so-and-so is corrupt, then it seems to me it will be definitely, directly a contempt of the court, unless it can be backed by documentary evidence and proof of truth.
But he said nothing different. He said 15 or 50 is just a figure.
Yeah, it is just a figure. That's what I'm saying. It is just a figure. It is very vague. It does not put into contempt any particular court or any particular judge. But as I said earlier, whether in the best judgment of the court it constitutes contempt, only the court can decide.
Okay.
See, we have been saying for a long time, see, contempt or criminal contempt is divided into two parts.
Okay.
Obstruction of justice or scandalizing the court or lowering the authority of the court. Now, if you threaten a judge or a witness or a lawyer or buy a witness, influence a witness, that's obstructing justice. That's clearly contempt and should be contempt. Second is the scandalizing the court or lowering the authority of the court. We have been saying that there is no need to have this at all. It's not there in America. Only obstruction of justice is contempt. But you see, if you make, even if somebody makes baseless allegations against a judge, you can make baseless allegations against every other person. What's so special about baseless allegations against a judge? Firstly, nobody will
reduce his honor, that the judge is someone who must be respected in society.
But don't other people have honor?
No, it's not. That's not the case. I mean, that's a bit disingenuous.
No, but
what we're saying is we recognize that a judge occupies a very specific and important role in society that maybe I or most citizens don't, and we have to respect them beyond the law. We can't easily besmirch them.
No, but there is the law. There is the law of criminal defamation.
Even ordinary citizens.
There is the law of civil defamation, which a judge can resort to. Moreover, if somebody makes baseless allegations against a judge, they are seen for what they are, because the judge's reputation does not depend upon other people making allegations. The judge's reputation depends upon how his actions are seen and perceived by the people.
Let me ask Justice Parker. Justice Parker, what really worries me about this, what makes me feel bad about this conversation, is that we're even having it. That maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, as I said a bit earlier in the show, the justice system was seen in such high esteem that the issues of contempt and corruption were not even that valid, and it weren't burning issues in our society, and today they are burning issues.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that as a retired judge yourself? Do you also share the concern of the previous Chief Justices of India, Bharucha and Prashant Bhushan, that the corruption in judiciary is in fact rising?
Now see, as I remember what Justice Bharucha had said at the time of his retirement or immediately after his retirement, that there is a corruption at the lower level of the judiciary. And see, we had not heard about the corruption at the apex court, except the case of Ramaswamy, where of course the proceedings were taken into parliament also. But so far as the high courts are concerned, time and again the advocates have protested and action had been taken. Even in case of Bombay High Court, in 1990s it had happened. Now, see, we are concerned about the confidence which the people should have. Now, despite the fact that it takes decades for matter to be decided, what ultimately people want, that ultimately the result must be in accordance with law and justice. People should get ultimate justice, and that is how the people have confidence, and they call it temple of justice in our country. In fact, they worship, they think that because the judiciary they get the protection. And if the confidence which is there among the people about the judiciary, if that is sought to be lowered by making false allegations,
okay, let's take a quick break.
That ultimately will affect the confidence of the people.
Okay, let's take a quick break right here. But before we break, we took a poll on our website and we asked our viewers, we asked the public out there whether the charges of corruption have tarnished the image of the judiciary. And there you have the results on your screen. A whopping 83.3% said yes, corruption has been a taint in the judiciary. Don't go away, we'll be right back, and then we'll be asking our viewers whether Caesar's wife must be above suspicion and whether this principle is being violated here in India right now. Don't go away. Okay, welcome back to our special show, Judging the Judges. Before we went into the ad break, we were talking to Prashant Bhushan about his allegations of corruption against the Supreme Court of India. He's alleged that half the Supreme Court Chief Justices, 8 of the last 16, were corrupt. In response, our other guest, Justice Parker, said he was shocked to hear this, surprised to hear this, because he'd never heard of allegations in the Apex Court before. You dispute that?
Well, I mean, the charges against Justice Sabharwal, whom I had named in that interview, against Justice Anand, against Justice Punchi, were highly publicized and well known. Besides, you see, I have been of the view that it is a totally incorrect view to think that we can maintain public, or we should maintain public confidence in the judiciary by suppressing all information about corruption in the judiciary on pain of contempt. Because if you do that, you are not going to be able to institute the kind of reforms that are required to deal with this problem of corruption.
Okay, we will come to reforms in the judiciary in just a little bit, but I want to go back to the point Diptosh Majumdar